Did you hum?
I did.
That's how we're starting this episode. We're humming.
I guess we're
Ready?
humming.
Ready? Mm,
Oh,
and welcome back to another episode of Coast to Coast Sports. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. If you're listening to us on Spotify, we appreciate you. And did I mention Spotify? I did mention
it's because we're on Spotify.
It's because we're on Spotify. YouTube, what's going on, man? Listen, we are on Spotify now. And if you haven't heard and you haven't checked us out, please do now. If you're on Spotify listening to us, check us out on YouTube. You can see our beautiful faces. They say we have a face for radio. I think they're lying. We have a face for YouTube.
We have a face for both.
We have a face for both. I like to think we're good dynamic.
Yeah, we're dynamic.
We're dynamic.
Yeah.
We're dynamic. We're like Shohei Ohtani. Did I say Shohei Ohtani? I said Shohei Ohtani. Are we going to talk baseball today, John?
We haven't in a while. I think we might be talking
Are you
baseball
wearing a
today.
Reds hat?
I'm wearing a Reds hat.
And I'm wearing an Astros jersey.
You're wearing an Astros shirt.
The Columbus Crew flag's up.
It is.
That's not baseball. But regardless, we're talking baseball today, boys and gals. Whoever's listening, grandmas, uncles, grandpas, great aunts, I don't know. Nephews, fuck it.
Cousins?
Sisters? Pastors?
Roll Tide?
Hook 'em? We'll bring that all up later in this episode, so thanks for hanging out with us. We'll jump right into it. Before we get started, this whole episode, I'm talking the whole thing, the whole shit, shat, shabo, shebang, is brought to you by National Road Golf Course. And if you guys are intermediate level golfers like John or myself, not very good, you hit the ball, you go find it. You probably are shooting good 50 plus 100 on a total, but if you just want to have a good time, National Road Golf Course is the place for you. I mean, John, you've played there. You love it. You're not the best, but you still have a good time there.
Yeah, you said we're intermediate. I wouldn't even consider myself intermediate, but
Cut yourself some slack.
But I go there, I feel like I'm a pro. And then they got the golf simulators too.
No,
I don't have to lug around my carts to go find my ball.
You don't have to. It's right there.
It's right
there.
there.
If you're inexperienced and you just want to get it going, check out National Road Golf Course off of Route 40, West Jefferson, Ohio. It's on the left-hand side if you're driving west, but if you're driving east, it's on the right-hand side. You'll blow right by it. You can't miss it. It's by all the warehouses. So check it out. Give it a look. Super affordable, super fun time, and it's super easy. So check it out, and thank you to our sponsor. We'll get into some more of those later, but let's jump right into it, John.
Yeah, let's do it.
Before we get to baseball, let's talk NBA.
Okay.
NBA basketball is on an absolute tear right now. I'm talking free agents. I'm talking draft. I'm talking rumors. I'm talking Brian Windhorst memes out the wazoo. And why is that?
Season.
It's the off season. I'm talking people got paid. I'm talking people got traded. I'm talking people got cut. All the good things. So let's dive right into it. Let's start with the young guns. We'll go to the draft. They had their dreams fulfilled, their wishes met. Some people got drafted to great organizations, such as none of the top 5 picks, or some of the ones that are later down on the list, like the Miami Heat, Lakers, great organizations, historic organizations, Celtics. But let's go with the top 5 picks just to give us a little sprinkle of it. A little dab will do. Right? Okay. First pick, Pablo Barranchera. Then you go Thunder. Pablo goes to the Magic. Thunder gets Chet Holmgren. Rockets get Jabari Smith. Kings get Keegan Murphy. And Pistons get Jaden Ivey. Now, out of all those draft picks of the top 5, what was the surprise? Was there a surprise there? Did we think Pablo was going the whole time, number 1? Did we think it was going to be Chet? Jabari Smith was picking up a lot of momentum there. Mm-hmm. Were you surprised by any of the top 5 picks? Or did you feel like they really rounded this out really well?
So I'm not surprised that the top 5 was the top 5.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a little surprised on the order, though. I'm kind of... the one I'm most surprised with is Jaden Ivey going 5. Mm-hmm. I'm high on Jaden Ivey. I thought he was really good at Purdue. Gross. He had some big games in the Big Ten, one of the best conferences in basketball. Mm-hmm. I thought the Kings were going to pick him up. They didn't. They went with Keegan Murray. Not a bad pick. But I thought they passed on a really good pro in Jaden Ivey. I think he was the steal of the draft for the Pistons there at 5.
Yeah, I mean, the way I look at it, too, for me, the biggest surprise, I think a lot of people were picking before even last year, before the college season even started, everyone was like, Chet's going number 1.
Yeah.
They were saying his ceiling's Kevin Durant, his floor is going to be like a Greg Oden, super injury prone, so that's obviously a very wide gap. But to me, Magic already tall. I mean, I don't know if Mo Bamba's staying there. I think he left or he might get traded. And I know there's some speculation about him. But the Magic would have been stupid tall with him because Franz Wagner, not small. Then if you added Chet, not small. They would have been basically Cavs 2.0. Let me get all the tall people and then let's run it back. But I think the Magic took a great pick. I told you guys probably 2 or 3 months ago, I think Paolo's going number 1. I think he should. He's the best overall all-around player where he can start on, honestly, probably 25. Now, he could probably start on 20 teams. And those other teams, he's going to be a 6-man, maybe 7, coming off the bench. It just depends on where he would fall. But out of the top 5, no doubt he would start. Mm-hmm. He's got a great build. He's got great size. He's got great handles for a forward, right? But I think he'll play more of that small forward, maybe that 2 if he develops a shot. But I think the Thunder are not only getting Chet, but they also drafted another guy, and their nickname right now is called the Slim Towers.
Are they?
Because they are so long, and they're obviously built like cardboard, right? I mean, Giannis, when he got drafted, was built like a 2x4. Kristaps Porzingis, same thing. Once these guys get an NBA team on them, diets, lifting, workouts, they'll build muscle and they'll get going. I mean, look, Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant was really small, but he still kind of is. Mm-hmm. So I think Chet will be a good one. But the person that I'm really high on is Jabari Smith. I think he is going to be so good for the Rockets. I think the Rockets will have one of the surprising teams of next year. They let Clint Capella go for basically not Clint Capella. They let Christian Wood go for basically nothing. Christian Wood gets traded, so you already know that they're already big on their center, and he's I can't remember his name. He's foreign, and I wouldn't even be able to pronounce him. I think he's from like Serbia or something. So I'd butcher his name anyway. But they're really big on him, and they're really big on Jabari starting right away. So I think the first 5 is probably the correct 5. Whatever order you put it in, I don't think you could have gone wrong. I think Paolo was the best overall fit, so I think that worked out for them. Mm-hmm. But I mean, as is, do we see any of these teams finishing in the top 5 again? For the lottery. Or do you think they're going to be bad again, or do you think any of them make significant improvement?
I'm looking here. Magic are borderline, I think. I think they've gotten a little better, but not enough to make the playoffs for sure.
Of course not.
Thunder, I mean, we'll see. They got picks for days, so.
Mm-hmm. And they'll also have, oh God, what's his name? His name's escaping me. They're the rookie that they had last year.
Oh, the guy from
Lou Dort?
No, not Lou Dort. Lou Dort wasn't a rookie, but he's great. And so is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I think it's with a J. Hold on, you keep talking. Don't let me distract you.
Yeah. So the Rockets and Kings, I think, will be back in the top 5 next year. I'm looking at the Rockets roster. I don't think we're making
Josh Giddey. That's who. Josh
Tell me Jay Sean Tate can't carry that.
Hey, shout out Jay Sean Tate. He got a contract.
Pickerington's finest. But I just don't see the Rockets making that big of a jump. We'll see what they do a couple years from now. And then the Kings are just a shit organization, poverty franchise. I don't see them good.
Unpopular opinion.
Okay.
Unpopular opinion. I think the Kings will actually be pretty decent next year. I'm not saying playoff necessarily, but I'm saying they're good. They got Malik Monk, they got De'Aaron Fox, they got Domantas Sabonis, then they get Keegan Murphy. I'm not saying they're going to win, 35 games, 40 games, but I'm saying that they're going to win a couple games and they're going to be pretty solid.
Okay.
But shout out to one of our listeners. I was talking to him, on Twitter sphere.
Ooh.
He thinks that the Kings are actually going to move from Sacramento to Las Vegas.
Do we have a source? What's our source?
We don't have a source. He's just saying that. Las Vegas probably wants a team. Because Las Vegas is going to go in and get... If they have a chance to get another team, they're going to get another team. They got a WNBA team. They got a hockey team.
They got a football team.
They got a football team now. They're probably going to make a bid for a soccer team.
Probably.
So what stops them from getting an MLB team? Because Rob Manfred said he already wants to go to 32 teams. And we're going to talk about that later in the episode.
And there's also a good chance the A's move there, too.
Right. So A's have already been rumored to move there. Mm-hmm. So if they don't, what's stopping them from getting an NBA team?
Nothing.
And the Kings, I wouldn't see why not. You leave Sacramento and then you go to a desirable city. Not shitting on Sacramento by any stretch of the imagination.
State capital.
But I'm just valid point. I'm just saying what's stopping them from going to Sacramento and then getting to a desirable city like Vegas. That brings in obviously recruits, trade destinations, all that jazz.
Oh yeah.
No pun intended on the actual Jazz organization, and we'll talk about them later. But I feel like the surprises were all there. I feel like everything kind of worked out in the way that it did. So moving on to the people that are getting paid.
Ooh.
I'm just gonna rattle off a few people.
Yeah, let's rattle.
Nikola Jokic,
Paid.
bag secured. Bradley Beal,
Paid.
Jason Tate,
Paid.
Rudy Gobert,
Paid.
traded.
Oh,
Didn't get paid,
Didn't get
got
paid.
traded. He out. Jazz property franchise now.
They
Actually, I'm lying to you. I think it's a perfect trade.
Okay.
Because I don't think Rudy Gobert's good. I think Rudy Gobert's significantly overrated because he's not going to be able to play when it matters most, playoff basketball. He's going to get ISO'd and he's going to get picked on the entire time. The Jazz got 3 quality players and 4 firsts for him. I think it was a steal and a half.
Mm-hmm.
But back to our paid.
Yes.
Mind if I go back to our paid
Dude,
people?
yeah, I want to let them be.
Kyrie Irving opted back in with the Nets.
He's back.
He's getting paid.
He's getting paid.
Russell Westbrook opted back in with the Lakers. He's getting paid.
He is getting paid.
All right. Sorry, my dog's here. He's fucking fighting for his life over here on the corner. You good, dude? You good? He's fighting it. That's all right. Regardless. Sorry for the wiener dog interruption. Malik Monk got paid by the Kings. Not a whole lot, but still got paid more than he was getting paid by the Lakers. So you see all these guys. Free agency's really ramping up. Jalen Brunson got super paid. He was the big one that a lot of people were big on. They knew the Knicks were going after him, and they knew that he was probably either going to go to the Knicks before the season really wrapped up for the Mavericks because they were saying that they're going to clear cap space forever. And they did. They cleared Nerlens Noel. They cleared a few other guys from their team to clear up the cap space to get Jalen Brunson, and they did that. They paid him, I think, $100 million over 4 years or something like that, 110. So he got paid.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're seeing all these guys get traded, shifted. Kevin Durant is the biggest one and the biggest fish still left in the market.
Yeah, that's huge.
I think it is very odd that you go from, okay, Kyrie Irving opting back in instead of opting out and maybe testing out free agency or being able to take, a buyout or something. He opts back in and Kevin Durant goes, you know what? I want out. I'm requesting a trade. Do you think this is a scare tactic on the Nets? For Kevin Durant to the Nets saying, hey, you better find some people? Or do you think he actually wants out and he wants traded to a contender? Because I don't see Brooklyn right now with the team that they got and what they did last year. I don't see them being a contender anytime soon. They have Kevin Durant, they have Kyrie Irving. If they run it back and this team stays the same, you have 2 really good players. Anything can happen, but I just don't see anybody picking them coming out of the East right now. If the season started tomorrow, do you pick them coming out of the East? I don't.
I don't as well.
So, do you think that he really wants traded?
I think he does. I think him and Kyrie had a little bit of a fallout there at the end. There's a lot of frustration that happened in the Nets organization last year. They predicted to go win the East, do their thing, and they barely made the playoffs. They had to do the play-in. Mm-hmm. So I think he does want out. He said something about 2 All-Star. He wants to play with 2 All-Stars. The Cavs have 2 All-Stars, by the way, if you want to come to Cleveland. But
and you guys have some people that you could definitely trade for him too, as well.
Yeah, we could. So I think he actually does want to get traded. I think he's done with Kyrie. I don't think he's a huge fan of Embiid either. Mm-hmm. I don't think he thinks they're gonna go to the NBA Finals next year. Yeah, and I don't think anybody else does really either.
So do you think he'll stay in the East, or do you think he'll bounce to the West? You mentioned Embiid. Do you want him to get traded to the Sixers, or I know Embiid would probably take him, right?
Yeah.
So what do you think? You think he's East, West?
I don't think he cares. I think just
out of Brooklyn.
He's just going to be looking at, okay, who am I playing with? Mm-hmm. And I think that's what's going to matter at the end of the day. I don't think it's like an East versus West thing. Okay. Although I think if there's like 2 equal teams where it's like, okay, it's a coin flip, he'll probably stay in the East because it'll be easier. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, I think it's just what team can provide the best package for him to win an NBA title.
Yeah, I agree. I think he actually truly wants to be traded. I think the Heat, actually, unbiased take here, have a really good chance at getting him.
No, they do.
I think that the Heat should offer Duncan Robinson, Kyle Lowry, 2 firsts that they have, and that's it. Offer that, see what that gets, how far that gets you. If they say we want Tyler Hero or we want someone, we want whatever, throw that offer out there first, just to see how far it gets you and where the waiting game is. Because to me, not very many teams can offer that much. I mean, the Cavs, like Darius Garland, he got paid. He got extended.
He got
just like
huge
Ja,
money.
just like Zion, just like I'm missing one more. Ja Morant, Zion, Darius Garland. I mean, I don't know if the Cavs are going to go, hey, let me go ahead and give you, let's just say Colin Sexton. I don't know how many first-round picks you guys have. A couple picks. Let's just say you have 2 in the couple coming years. 2 first rounds. Maybe throw Kevin Love and Lauri Markkanen. Throw that to the Nets. Do you think the Cavs should take that? I don't know, because personally I think that Kevin Durant is a player that can really elevate your team, and I think that if he goes to the Heat, which would be a really good option for him, especially because I think the culture could do good for him as well. Like that type of franchise that'll hold him accountable and ain't going to put up with his shit, I think could do really good for him.
Yeah.
I also could see the Celtics being like, hey, we'll give you Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart, a first round or two firsts, and Peyton Pritchard. Give me Kevin Durant. I don't think the Nets say no to that either. So
No.
I think that could be a really good situation for everybody. I think that people are still waiting on the Kevin Durant sweepstakes. Obviously, they can make a trade for him at any day now. So we'll keep an eye on it. We'll monitor it as we do, because that's what we do.
We're tapped in.
We're tapped in. We're tapped in. But we'll keep an eye on it. So that's kind of our little NBA talk. We'll talk a little bit more, see if more trades happen. But I mean, off the get go, those were the couple things that stuck out to us as watchers and people that enjoy said
Basketball Association of America.
said Basketball Association of America. Those are things that we enjoy. But I mean, at the end of the day, we'll be curious to keep you tapped in. I mean, T.J. Warren just got traded to the Nets, so maybe that's a reason to stay. I don't know, but at the end of the day, we'll be tapped in. We'll let you know, and we'll keep it spicy. We'll keep it rolling. So moving on. Did I say moving on?
Moving on.
Should we get to the second ad, or should we wait after the MLB talk? What do you think?
Let's hit him with the ad.
We'll hit him with the ad first. Okay, this next one. How much do you like pitas? Let me ask you this. You like a pita with chicken on it? Euro? What do you like on your pita?
Usually I can go for lamb. I can go for chicken. It's really so
toss-up.
versatile.
It's so versatile. You know why? Because they're so good.
Yeah.
So let's get into it. Petabilities is our next sponsor of this podcast. So shout out Petabilities. You can find them on the food truck app. Find out where they're located for the day. I just went to them yesterday. They were in Marysville. They were fucking delicious like they always are. Or if you want to go for a more brick and mortar spot that is always going to be there 24/7, Crooked Can in Old Hilliard, Ohio. You could just type in Petabilities, go to the website, find out where they're posted at today, and get addresses to them. They've got chicken, buffalo chicken, tiki masala chicken. They've got teriyaki chicken. They've got barbecue chicken. You got all the sauces you can think. You can put that with your chicken, or you can put that with your gyro. I've had a barbecue flavored gyro meat before. Let me tell you, delicious.
Yeah.
They've got falafel if you're vegan, or you like that little non-meat. And then also they got rice bowls. They got salad. They got everything you want and more. So check out Petabilities in Old Hilliard, Ohio, or on their website and see out where they're posted on the food truck today.
And they're everywhere in Columbus.
They're everywhere. And it's good food at a great price. So check out Petabilities. Thank you guys so much for sponsoring us. Let's get into the next part of our show. John, I see you're wearing the Reds hat.
I am.
Are you wearing the Reds hat because the Reds are bad?
I'm wearing it because it's the 4th of July edition of the Reds hat, and it is the 5th of July.
So it's recent.
Yeah.
You could argue that it's recent. So then let's do this. Let's get right into it. The season, we haven't talked baseball a lot this year. We kind of let that simmer. Simmer in the background. We've been talking all these other sports. We've been giving out grades. We've been doing all that jazz. Let's talk baseball.
Ooh.
Power rankings are out. They release every week. We go Yankees 1.
Okay.
Astros 2, Dodgers 3, Mets 4, Padres 5. Then rounding out the last 10, you go Braves 6, Boston 7, Brewers 8, 9 Jays, 10 Cardinals. Do we have any surprises in these top 10? Who do you think should be? Who do you think shouldn't be? And where are we at right now?
Just off a quick glance, I'm looking at this. I'm not really seeing anybody left off that I think should be on. I think this is the right 10. I would change some in this order. The first one that sticks out to my mind is Padres at 5. I think they're a little worse than the 5th best team in the MLB. I think the Braves, especially how they've been playing recently, I think they should be at least 5. Padres, I know you're missing Tatis still. He hasn't really played. So maybe they're accounting for that a little bit. But I would put, at least right now, as of July 5th, I would put the Braves above the Padres.
The biggest thing that's sticking out for me, to be completely honest, is the fact that there's 3 AL East teams in the top 10. Yankees 1, Red Sox 7, Blue Jays 9.
Yeah.
Obviously, you can make a case for the Rays that if they catch hot, they could probably crack the top 10. I mean, we could see a postseason with 4 AL East teams and the other 2 spots just being the division winners, whether it be the Twins, Guardians. I personally don't see the White Sox really making a run at it anymore. And in case our loyal listeners will know that when this season started, when we said the preseason polls, White Sox came in at like number 3, and I said
up there.
I said they were frauds from the get-go. So I'm not saying I know my shit, and I'm not saying that I look hot right now, but I look kind of hot.
And all 3 of us agreed. So all 3 of us are tapped.
We're kind of all tapped in. You could say we're baseball aficionados.
You could say that.
You could say that. I could say that.
We will say that.
We will say that. We're still saying that.
We're saying that right now.
So I think that you could see really a playoff where it's Yankees 1 seed, Astros 2 seed, whoever the best record is, and then you go, it's going to be probably Boston plays the Blue Jays in the first round, and then it's going to be maybe Guardians, maybe Twins versus each other, right? I mean, they could play each other as well. So it'll be just very interesting to see how this postseason ends up playing out right now, but I think it's very surprising we got 3 teams in one division, and they could even have a 4th, and I think right now they are.
Yeah, they are. Right? I just pulled it up. So the Guardians are the 4th wild card, 2 games back of the Rays, and all 3.
Yeah, so you have 4 AL East teams in right now. Is the AL East just the team to beat? Is that the division to beat right now? Like if the postseason started today, are we saying the Yankees are coming out, the Red Sox are coming out, or do we think really that the Astros and the Twins have a chance?
The Astros have a chance for sure. I mean. They have the 2nd best record in the AL.
Second best record in baseball.
Baseball, yeah. So, I mean, obviously the Astros have a shot. It's baseball. You never know how the ball's going to bounce.
Was that a pun? Did you just pun?
I just pun.
Okay, I liked it. Good pun.
You're welcome. Twins have no shot. They haven't won a playoff game in how many years?
I know they were like a pretty good seed a few years back, but the Astros went in there and swept them. So definitely not good.
And they've lost like 12 straight playoff games to the Yankees. I don't think they've won a playoff game. Not even made the playoffs. They haven't won a playoff game, or not a series, a game, since I think they beat the Moneyball A's. I think it's been that long.
Oh my God! So
it's 2002. Yeah, it's been a second.
20 years.
Yeah.
Oh jeez.
Yeah.
So yeah,
they have no shot.
I completely echo.
This team's no different.
I completely echo everything you said. Personally, if I'm going to be a betting man, I'd pick the Astros to come out of the AL. Not just because I'm biased or a fan favorite. It's, to me, they're the team to beat. If you win the AL the previous year, you're the team to beat the next year. I don't care that you lost Carlos Correa, one of the best defensive shortstops in baseball, one of the best, veteran presence, clutch hitting players you got in the league. But you replace him with a rookie that's on pace to finish with a 5 to 6 WAR. So wins above replacement in case those that don't know.
Yep.
Which is just phenomenal. And he's probably going to finish second in Rookie of the Year voting, probably behind Julio Rodriguez. But, he's been injured, had some IL stints with his hand and I think his hamstring as well. So he might be higher than that. He might finish Rookie of the Year. I hope he does. I'd place to bet on him.
Ooh.
Hopefully it hits. I think I win a couple $100, but, is what it is. I think, to me, you should look at the Astros to be the team to beat. To me, the Yankees haven't won a valuable playoff series in God knows how long. I mean, when they lost to the Astros in Game 6 of the 2019 when Jose Altuve hit the walk-off home run against Aroldis Chapman, they just haven't shown up consistently with how much money they spend on their payroll and how much money they spend as a team. They're much like the Dodgers, but the Dodgers at least have a World Series this decade. Or in the past 20 years, too.
Yeah.
They at least have a World Series. Their pain works so far for them. So I don't know if the Yankees just don't have it. I don't really like Boone. I don't think he's that good of a manager. I think he's very overrated.
Yeah,
but
I agree with you there.
So I think, to me, you should always pick the people that won it last year. Like, to me, the Braves are the team to beat in the NL. Whether I think they're the best team or not, they're the team to beat in the NL because they won the division last year. If I had to pick somebody coming out of the NL this year, I think I'd have to pick the Dodgers, assuming they're healthy.
this year.
Yeah. Either Dodgers or Padres, I think, are very good picks, but I think the Braves are a sleeper as well. So if I'm going to rank it, I'm going to go Dodgers first, Braves second, because the Braves only got better. I mean, they didn't lose any crazy starting pitchers. They got Kenley Jansen for basically nothing. They replaced Freddie Freeman with Matt Olson. Matt Olson's a very serviceable, very, very good first baseman, so he's not the worst. But they're definitely going to be a team to beat. I think I'd pick the Braves as a sleeper to come out of the NL repeat.
Yeah. Looking at the NL here, just kind of how your opinion on the Yankees, I have that same opinion about the Mets. I don't see them coming out of the NL.
Very overrated.
They got a solid team to them. I mean,
if Max Scherzer and Jacob deGrom come back and are Max Scherzer and Jacob deGrom, then I could maybe make the case because that's a hell of a 1-2 punch.
Yeah.
But you know just as well I do, I can't name the last time Jacob deGrom's had a full healthy season.
It's been a while.
He last year had more runs batted in than he did at an ERA, which is insane.
Yeah.
But then he got injured and he was done for the year. So I think that if they have those two back, that might pivot the needle for me. But I can't say I agree with you. I agree with you totally. I don't think the Mets come out of the NL.
I don't either. I also don't see anybody out of the NL Central coming out either. I think the Brewers are not as strong as people think, and I think the Cardinals might even end up winning that division. They're only 2 games back right now, I think. So we'll see what happens there. I will say, though, both wildcard races are shaping up to be really nice. I don't know if it's that extra slot added, but I'm looking at this. Philadelphia, 1 game back. San Francisco, 2. Yeah. Miami, 3.5. And then you go to the AL. You have Cleveland, 2 games back. Seattle, 3.5. White Sox, 4. Rangers, 5. Like, It could really go anyway.
It could really shape up, especially when we're not even halfway the season. We're not even at the trade deadline. So, I mean, to me, speaking of trade deadline, August 2nd, I think, is the day. Or August 6th, something like that. So, it's fastly approaching. We're almost a month out. What team needs to be the biggest buyer? Whether it be on this list or if it's just on the records alone, what team needs to be the biggest buyer right now to help their team either make the playoff or make the World Series, make a division, help their team win a World Series? Like, obviously the Yankees are probably going to make the playoffs. The record's really, really good, and if they'd have to have a historic fall off for them not to make the playoffs, period. So, considering that, what teams need to make a trade at the deadline, make a move to either catapult them into the playoffs or even solidify them maybe going to the World Series, i.e. like the Yankees, Astros, Dodgers, those teams like that. What team needs to be a buyer here?
Looking at this, I don't think anybody in that top 3 of the power rankings need to buy. I don't think the Yankees, Dodgers, or Astros need to buy. I think when you say that, I'm looking at a team like the Red Sox, who have kind of got out to a terrible start, but they're hot, making strides now. And then, sometimes you're like, oh, do you want to mess with the team chemistry? We're on a pretty hot streak right now. But I don't think they'll be able to get past the Yankees or the Astros if they don't make a move here. So I'm looking at the Red Sox as a team to buy, or another one for the AL, just one of the teams in the Central. I think one of the teams just needs to just go in, just win this division, because right now it looks like nobody wants to win this division.
Right, it's very open.
It's very open right now. Cleveland just got swept by Detroit after being 1 game back. Chicago's making a little bit of a comeback after they were kind of injured, I think, to start the year.
Still, I don't think Luis Roberts played a game. So
or if you're a team like Seattle,
or is it? Yeah, it's either Luis or Eloy. It's one of them. But yes, keep going.
But or a Seattle where it's like you haven't made the playoffs in so long, and you're so close right now. You're only 3.5 games back. Do you want to go in and for the fans just be like, okay, I'm sorry guys, we've missed the playoffs for 20 years, and just buy in? I mean, you got a couple teams that could buy right now.
Yeah, I personally think I agree wholeheartedly with you with the Seattle pick. I think personally a team that should, they're not going to, but I think if they really need it, they really should consider it is Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay's in the wild card hunt. They're the last spot to make it right now. They could use either one. They could just use something, whether it be another bat, whether it be another bullpen guy, maybe even like a fringe starter, a relief pitch, a long relief. Maybe you could throw him into starting. They just need something else. because they're just not the Tampa Bay Rays of the last year where they had 100+ wins and won the AL best record. They're just not that team anymore.
They're not.
And they didn't really lose anybody crazy. So I don't know what needs to happen for them or what's going on. Maybe their young guys just aren't playing as good. I mean, Randy Rosarena's still solid. Wander Franco's not boy wonder anymore, but he's still there. He's going to be their franchise for the next 10 years. Whatever his contract was last year, he got a 10-year extension. That's one team I think. And I know this team's not going to do it either, but I think Cleveland needs to buy somebody. Cleveland is the youngest team in baseball. And let me double down on it. They would be the youngest team in AAA as well. That is insane. And the fact that they are just a couple games out of a wild card spot is insane.
Yep.
And the fact is they truly, truly, truly could win their division. And I said this before the year started. A lot of people are going to be surprised with how good Cleveland is. Everybody's like, oh, and they should really honestly build Jose Ramirez a fucking statue right now. Just because of the fact that he took a fat pay cut and the sole purpose of his ability to basically be one of the most valuable players in baseball. He's going to finish probably second or third in MVP because if Judge keeps going the way he's going, the media's going to pick him because why not? Because he's the fucking poster child of the Yankees and everybody loves him. But I think what Jose Ramirez means to the Cleveland and the Guardians is way more than what Aaron Judge means to the Yankees personally. And Cleveland wholeheartedly wraps their arms around Jose Ramirez. They love that guy. So I think that they should really, truly buy into somebody. I don't know who that person is, and I don't know whether it's a starting pitcher, a relief pitcher, or a bat. I don't know what the answer is there. I just really wish they would. I know they're not going to. They might trade for like a French guy on an expiring contract.
I was scrolling through Twitter. I saw a trade rumor with the Orioles for Trey Mancini. That'd be a great pickup. I think
he's not going to be crazy, expensive. He'd be a perfect person to get. I think a Josh Bell might be a good get him from Washington. Yeah. He's gonna probably be cheap, not gonna be crazy expensive, and he could play DH and even maybe, he can obviously play first base.
Yep.
He's just another person you can add to that lineup that can be a big bat for you.
Cleveland's got a first baseman. Let me tell you about Josh Naylor.
But Josh can also go play outfield too. So I'm saying you could tweak the lineup however you want because trade deadline's only halfway through the season. You got to get through the season. And at the end of the day, you maybe figure out like, okay, we put Josh Naylor in right field, we put Bell at first, and we do what? Franmil Reyes at DH. I mean, that's a pretty nice 1, 2, 3 punch there of just big guys with big bats. So I think that those would be a couple. That would be the two teams I think that need to buy somebody. Switching to the NL though, who do you think needs to buy?
All right, looking at the NL,
do you think anybody on top 10? Dodgers, Mets, Braves, Pads, Brews, Cards. Who do we need here?
Yeah, I'm looking at two in the AL or in the NL, and they're both in the Central. And it's the Brewers and the Cardinals. Okay. They both need to buy. They need to compete with each other because I don't think if they don't. So the way the playoffs is set up, it's like a 3-game series in the first round. That's a 3. I don't think either of these teams will make it through that round against. Right now, it'd be against the Braves or the Padres. Especially if Tatis is coming back for the Padres. So I think both of these teams, right now they're still in the playoffs, but I think both of them need to just get another bat because right now both of them are pitching decently. Not the best, but I think if you get another bat to elevate your offense, I think either one of these teams can become a World Series contender. I don't think Philly needs to, though. Philly, I think they got rid of Joe Girardi. He was the issue.
And also Bryce just needs to get healthy.
Yeah, Bryce needs to get healthy, but they're only 1 game out of a playoff spot right now. The world is Philadelphia's right now if they want it. I think getting rid of Joe Girardi was huge for them.
To me, the two people that need to buy in the NL is I'll start with the Phillies because I'll save my second pick. Because the second pick to me is the most important. Okay. Phillies, I do think need to buy somebody. The Brewers, I think, are in a good spot. Jackie Bradley Jr. is still playing well for them. Willie Adames got traded, got shipped out, I believe. He plays for, I think, the Rays now or something.
Yeah. Yelich not having his best season.
Yelich hasn't had a decent season since basically his MVP season, honestly.
That is true.
He hasn't had it been himself, so hopefully he can figure it out this year and turn it around. And he has played a little bit better than years past. But I think that the Phillies need to buy because they are one. I think they're truly a relief / starting pitcher away from being a really, really competitive team, because their team at one point in the season was leading blown wins just by bullpen.
Mm-hmm.
It was very much circa Cleveland a few years ago. Cleveland was in a lot of games with their starting pitcher, Shane Bieber, Tristan McKenzie,
Yep.
Mike Clevenger. Those guys were keeping people in, and then the bullpen would give it away.
Yeah.
I think they were relief pitchers to / middle reliever away from being something that's really good, because Zach Wheeler, still good.
Yeah, he's one
Aaron
of the best
Nola,
pitchers. Yeah.
still good. Like, these guys, they are clearly there, and their offense is good. Schwarber, still gross.
Mm-hmm.
And if Bryce is coming back, he's going to come back before the season's over, so he's just going to be able to DH, and he'll be fine. Because I think he has a torn labrum or something, so he can't throw, but he can swing.
He'll be back. He'll be fine.
But the person that I really want to see buy more than anybody is the Cardinals.
Yeah.
More than the Astros, more than, Seattle, more than any other team. And for one reason only. I think if you're a true baseball fan, whether you like them or not, you need to have Albert Pujols, Yadier Molina, and Adam Wainwright one more time in postseason. Whether they get swept or whether they get bounced, if you're just a fan of baseball, you got 3 guys that were instrumental in the early decade 2000s of their franchise in the Cardinals. They won a World Series together. Yachty and Adam have been together their entire career. Albert's coming back for a swan song. To me, you just need to see them in the playoffs. Whether they do a given flying fuck in the playoffs, I don't care. I just want to see them make it.
Mm-hmm.
Especially because they're in the NL and I don't have to worry about them as an Astros fan. If I was a Philly fan or a Giants fan, I'd say, fuck the Cardinals. I don't care anything about them. Get rid of them out of my way. But I think it's just baseball fans. It'd be cool to see Adam, Yachty, and Albert get one more go at it. Just in the postseason, get that October baseball going, and feel that one more time. I think it'd be really cool for baseball fans.
I didn't think
get their swan song. That's the only reason I really think they should buy. Obviously, they're a French team right now. They're sitting just one game ahead of the last wild card spot against Philly, so they could fall out, but I'm hoping to see them in the postseason. I don't know about anybody else, but that's just me. Let us know on Twitter if you guys agree with us as well, but those are our picks.
Mm-hmm.
So let's get to the last bit of baseball talk. What sticks out to you and what shocks you so far about the season? Whether it be a team like the Yankees going, having 50-plus wins, or the Astros 50-plus wins again, or the Reds, how bad they are, how bad Oakland is, or a team that should be better that isn't. What shocks you and what sticks out to the most to you right now?
Well, I might be stealing one from you here, but the team that's been the most shocking is the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. I don't remember if they were in the top 10 when we started the season in the power rankings, but they were fringe if they were not.
Yeah, I believe they were. I'll check for you, so feel free to go on.
But you have 2 of the greatest baseball players that we will talk about to our grandchildren are on that team right now, and
enlighten us who those are in case people.
That would be the Shohei Ohtani and the Mike Trout.
Mm-hmm.
Both of them are 2 of the greatest teams, or 2 of the greatest players to play right now, and the Angels have surrounded them with nothing. We thought maybe they had some star power in there besides those 2. They don't. It is Mike Trout and it is Shohei Ohtani, and that is the team. Mm-hmm. They are not making the playoffs this year. They're not even above 500. They're not even going to be 500. It's sad to watch 2 of the greatest players.
Go in, John.
To ever play this game, be on the same team, and suck this bad. I mean, Mike Trout's never even won a playoff game.
Oh, has Mike Trout been to the playoffs?
He's been in one wild card game where he lost.
Is it. Proud of him. He made the wild card.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's sad. It's sad too. Like I don't know if we post this video,
the two teams. By the way, just the 2 websites that I'm seeing right now had the Angels just outside the top 10.
Okay, but you still thought they were going to at least
be
relevant and fight for a wild card spot, and they're just not going to be this year. Mm-hmm. That video of Mike Trout showing him
his pitcher that he's tipping pitches is so sad.
It's so sad, and you just you feel for him because if you've grown up with Mike Trout, you just love the guy.
Yeah,
and
he chose to stay with his franchise.
Yeah, he's probably going to be an Angel for life, but it's going to be to his demise, and it's going to be sad.
Yeah, I mean, it's really, truly hard not to pick the Angels, but I'm going to go with another team. I have actually two shocks. One
Okay.
shock is how bad the A's are. That's one. Now, it's super easy to be like, well, how'd you think they were going to be? You couldn't have thought they were going to be good. They traded everybody away. They're dog shit. But for like the past 5 to 10 years, they've traded everybody away always and still have been in a wild card hunt or have been in, some form of meaningful baseball. We are in the start of July, and there is no way in God's green when they are making the playoffs or even a fucking wild card spot. Unless they go on a historic run like they did in 2001 or 2002 when they won like 20 games in a row or something crazy like that. There's the only way they're making the playoffs and being relevant.
Shout out Brad Pitt.
Shout out Brad Pitt. I love you. Shout out Jonah Hill. I also love you. Shout out Chris Pratt. Shout out Chris Pratt.
We love Chris Pratt.
We're Chris Pratt friendly.
For sure, for sure.
But unless they do something crazy like that, there's just no way.
Yeah.
So that just surprised me. I figured like, they know what they're doing, and I trust them that they do. This is just one of those years where like this is definitely 100% a rebuild year. So, but the biggest shock for me, is Seattle.
Okay.
You have a Rookie of the Year, probably gonna win it candidate, and Julio Rodriguez. You got Robbie Ray, reigning Cy Young of the AL, who has been anything but a Cy Young pitcher. You have Ty France, who's still playing really well. He's injured right now. He's on my fantasy team. Sad day.
Yeah, but a bright spot on the Mariners.
Jared Kelenic has not. I think he's still stuck in AAA. Got sent back down and is staying there right now. J.P. Crawford is probably the second best to third best shortstop, defensively speaking, and his offensive output's nothing to wave a finger at. But he's defensively the second best or third best shortstop in the AL. And you have a lot of good on your team, and the fact that you guys are below 500. I'm not saying you're going to be Yankees 52 wins or Astros 52 wins, Yankees 56, whatever they are. I'm not saying that, but you're below 500.
Yeah.
And my last shock, which ties into my below 500, is the AL West as a whole. Now I'm a homer, kind of. I speak my truth and I speak true, and I try and stay on the line, but I tend to favor the Astros more times than not. I picked the Astros to win the division because to me, we're always going to be good. We always put our best foot forward. But to have a 13-game lead in your division, largest in franchise history for us, and nobody else in your division is above 500 is insane. If you asked me when this season started, who's going to be one of the best divisions in baseball, I would have said the AL West and the AL East were going to be the two best. Maybe the NL West as well. But I was going to say the AL East, AL West, NL West were going to be the top three divisions of baseball. The AL West is a dumpster fire. You have the A's, who I mentioned already before. Terrible. The Rangers, who aren't very good, are the second best team in the division. Seattle should be a hell of a lot better than what they are, and they're not even above 500. The Rangers aren't above 500. And then they'll round it all out. You have the Angels, who have two of the best players in baseball, maybe of our lifetime. Fucking awful. And oh, by the way, they got Noah Syndergaard, who was supposed to make a resurgence. Wrong.
Yeah, wrong.
Anthony Rendon was going to be healthy for the first time in his life. Wrong. Season-ending surgery already. It's like, what is going on in the AL West? And I don't know if it's just because the Astros beating up on them and they're so shook, or because the managers are truly bad, or because I don't know. I don't know what the issue is. I mean, the Seattle literally went out and traded and got good pieces. Eugenio Suarez, Jesse Winker, Robbie Ray.
Not a good addition.
I'm just saying you don't think so, but they clearly did. You traded these guys. You got these guys in here, and you guys are still below 500. That to me is awful. It is awful. But those are the two biggest shocks. I mean, any closing remarks on your shocks here, dude?
Yeah, no. What I was going to add on to your Seattle argument was that this was a team that ended up buying this offseason. And
below 500.
Below 500. I mean, Winker almost got the Reds to the playoffs last year. I mean, he was an all-star.
It was his best season ever.
Yeah, he was an all-star last year along with Nick Castellanos for Cincinnati. And I really thought he was going to help elevate the Mariners to the next level. And he hasn't. Now, they can still make the playoffs. We can look back on this and be like, hey, remember when they were under 500 before the All-Star break? And they're now
and that's why we said they need to be
card.
Yeah, need to be a buying team. But
yeah,
let's take a look at the division standings.
Okay.
And just give our little viewers and our listeners a little heads up. As of July 5th, 10:17 p.m., Yankees are leading the East 58-22. Red Sox are second, Jays third, Tampa Bay fourth, Orioles fifth.
Mm-hmm.
As we mentioned before, 4 teams from the AL East are making the playoffs currently.
Yep.
Then you go to the Central. Twins are currently leading. Then you have the Guardians, Sox, White Sox, Tigers, and then Royals rounding out the Central. Then you go to the West. Astros have a commanding lead of 51-27, 52-27. This is yesterday's rankings. Then you go Seattle, Rangers, Angels, A's to round that out.
Real quick, it's funny looking at that. You have the Royals just as far back as the Mariners are. They're both 13 and a half back.
That is so sad.
Yeah.
That's so sad for the Central.
Yeah.
That's so sad for the Central. Then you go to the NL East. Mets leading the division 49-30. Braves just right behind them 46-34. Phillies, Miami, and then Washington rounding that out. Then you go to the Central. Brewers, Cards, Cubs, Pirates, Reds, RIP Reds.
RIP Reds.
RIP Reds. And then you go to the West to finish it all out with the Dodgers, Padres, Giants, the D-backs, and then the Colorado Rockies to round those guys out. So those are your division standings currently. We'll keep an eye on those per usual. But let's just go who's the MVP right now. Who's the most valuable player in baseball?
Are we going AL, NL? Or
Of course.
Okay. If you would have asked me this two weeks ago for the AL, there's no question who I'd say. I would have said Jose Ramirez. Last couple of weeks, he hasn't been the best. Let's just be honest.
I think Gamble agrees.
I think Gamble agrees.
Brian, can we get a zoom in on?
Can we get a
Gamble
zoom
here?
in on
Is that
Gamble?
how that works? Can we get a?
Yeah.
This is really bad podcasting.
No,
For those
it's
listening on
not listening on podcast. Check. Not bad for podcast. Check out. We have a wiener dog on camera who's currently trying to lick my teeth.
I'm just saying for the Spotify listeners.
Spotify listeners, come to YouTube. Check us out.
That's true.
YouTubers, go to Spotify.
Okay.
Keep you in the dark, but go on your rant there.
I mean, who I think's gonna win it is Aaron Judge. I mean, he's just continuing to build up those home run numbers, and that's really where he's leading the most right now. If you look at extra base hits, I believe Jose is still ahead of him. It's just you play in that small ballpark out in New York.
Yeah, line drives home run.
Line drives a home run, so all of his doubles are now home runs. So I think it's going to end up being Aaron Judge, and I don't think it's a terrible pick. I just think there's a couple that could be better.
Yeah. I think if I'm going to go AL right now, I think a sleeper pick that you should be looking into would be Yordan Alvarez.
Okay.
I think they'll pick a DH because that's technically his position as a DH. He plays left field. He's played more left field than he has ever this year. So I don't think they'll pick a DH as the MVP, but he is leading the league, or he's top 2. He's top 3 in I think almost every statistical category.
Yeah.
Except I think like doubles and shit.
Yeah.
Home runs, obviously he's up there, but OPS, WAR, all that jazz, he's top 3 in all those, all the important ones. So I think Gamble.
Got a yawn.
You got to yawn. We got to focus, bud.
Stay
I
up.
think he would be a sleeper pick. But if I was gonna pick one, to me it's Jose Ramirez. The Yankees are good. Aaron Judge is playing phenomenal baseball. He's definitely clearly the best outfielder in baseball right now. He's up there. But Jose Ramirez doing what he is doing with Cleveland, whether he's had a bad week or not, he is still the most valuable player to his team. You replace Judge out of that Yankees team, they'll still be solid. I mean, they'll still be a good team. Their pitching for the first couple, months of the season is the reason that they're so good. It's not because Aaron Judge is playing out of his mind. I mean, their pitching staff was on a 5 or 6 game stretch where they went like 27 and a half innings or 23 and a half innings with only giving up 1 run. That's good baseball. And their bullpen, Clay Holmes is one of the best closers in baseball. He might be closer of the year, arguably. But Judge is phenomenal, and he's definitely putting together a hell of a season. So we'll be curious to see, and we'll keep an eye on that. But Gamble, you have to go. Sorry, buddy. Appreciate you for hanging out. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. NL. Who you got as the NL MVP?
NL. This is a lot harder. This is a more open race. I think AL, you got maybe 2 or 3 guys who they're going to win it. And you never know who's going to get injured. I think one guy who's really kind of rose above the rest as of right now, I think will be Paul Goldschmidt.
Underrated season. Man.
He's had
He's
such
had
a
an
good
underrated
season. Good season for the Cardinals out there in St. Louis. He's really elevated them. I mean, you look at the team, so definitely an older team on paper. Some guys definitely past their prime, but I mean, Paul Goldschmidt has just been so good for them, and I think he's one of the real reasons why the Cardinals are really up there for the division right now.
Yeah.
Um,
Strictly him.
kind of all I gotta say.
Strictly him.
Yeah.
I think that a good person other than Paul Goldschmidt to be looking into would be I think Pete Alonso is definitely giving some type of run to it, but I think the biggest sleeper pick will probably be Mookie. He plays for the Dodgers, plays for one of the biggest teams in all of baseball, and one of the biggest sports franchises. I mean, like they're synonymous in one of the most popular sports franchises in baseball. So I could see him being a sleeper pick. It's not really sleeper. He already has an MVP, so it's not like he's the worst pick in the world.
But for this year, I would say.
But he's definitely not putting together he's not putting a season together that's like, oh my god, this guy needs to be look out for this fucking guy.
Yeah, he's not 2018 Red Sox.
Yeah, no, he's nowhere near that. So I think that is somebody you should definitely keep an eye out for. If I was gonna say pick some money, play some money on it, win big, Mookie Betts would be the guy right now. He's plus 1,200.
Oh yeah, that's good.
So I think those are good odds, and I think that honestly another sleeper pick that's much more of a long shot, just because he missed so much in the beginning of the season because he's come back from an ACL injury, would be Ronald Acuna. If he can put together a really, and I'm like it'd have to be really fucking good second half.
Yeah, like he'd have to go off.
He'd have to pop off. And I'm not even necessarily saying he has to hit like 35 home runs in the second half of the season.
No, but if
he just has to be very, very serviceable and very good defensively and offensively with OPS, average.
Mm-hmm.
Because then I think people, if they're smart enough, they'll be like, well, he missed the first 25, 30 games of the year. And this is what he's doing now? I mean...
And I think he missed just enough games to where it's not impossible for him to win. To win the
right now his odds are
MVP.
plus 3,000.
That's not bad.
That's not terrible. So I'm just saying he could definitely get something done there, but
30 times your money if he wins.
Right. So I think that he's definitely somebody you should be looking out for. Like I said, I don't see him taking it home, but he should be a sleeper just behind Mookie Betts. And I think that Mookie, if he puts together a really good second half of the season, especially if the Cardinals fall off, because I think the thing that sucks about MVP is they typically go to the best person on the best team, i.e. Judge. They don't necessarily go to the best player, i.e. Ramirez. Yeah. Right. So it'll be an interesting second half of the season. Yeah. But
shout out Gamble.
You fucking playing fetch over there, dude?
What's up, dude?
All right, man. Well, I think that kind of wraps up our baseball talk.
Yeah.
You got any closing remarks on the baseball talk?
Oh
my God.
What? What are we missing?
Forgot to start the episode with our quote, and that John still left to me. God bless America. I'll do the quote for today.
Yeah, you do the quote.
I'll do the quote for today.
I mean, you messed it up. We got to get
I fucked it up. Ryan will edit this out. We'll get it somehow back to the beginning. I'm not sure how that happened. It probably won't.
All right, let's just restart the whole thing.
But scrap this episode. Will couldn't be here with us today, so I'll do the quote for the day. Let me get it. I write quotes down pretty frequently in my phone. I keep a notes list.
Ooh, okay.
Of quotes and stuff that I really like. I call it things to remember.
Oh.
And I guess I'll do one of my favorite quotes of recent. I guess I'll do my favorite quote of recent ones. I can't see what's ahead of me. And then the next thing is, well, can you see the next step? And then you would say, yes, I can see the next step. Well, why don't you just take that one? Don't worry what's down the road. Let's just worry about what's in front of us right now, right today. So can you see what's ahead of you? No? Well, can you see the next step? Yes, just take that one.
That beautiful.
Beautiful quote. I love that quote. And I'll give you a 2-1 because we missed Wax in last week's. I'll give you another one. I heard it today, actually.
Ooh, okay.
Is don't be curious. No, it's be curious. Don't be judgmental. Because the more we are curious, the more we learn about people and we learn about what's important in life. The more we're judgmental, that shit gets ruined. So be curious, not judgmental.
Okay.
Those are the 2 quotes I got for you.
Don't hate
it. Sorry for keeping delay this long. Long day.
Yeah, we're hurting the people.
But Ryan, are you ready for the 2 minutes, bro?
Coast to Coast.
I indeed am.
Okay. Well, hey, you hit it with us. I hear we got some spice. We should for sure make it. It's just 2 of us.
You never know.
If
Though.
we
had a lot happen in these last.
I guess that's fair. I guess that's fair. If we don't make it, I think we should maybe do a burpee. On-cam. Join the Patreon. We'll get it set up. We'll do OnlyFans of John and I doing burpees and banana hammocks. I don't know if you want to see that, but it's definitely worth it. At least the first.
We'll upload it to our TikTok.
Yes, we'll upload it to the TikTok.
Brian,
whenever you're ready. Are you ready now?
I am indeed.
Every time we fail the 2-minute drill, we have to do it.
We got to do burpees. For how many burpees we do is for how many seconds we're over. We're over 10 seconds, 10 burpees.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
I'm not doing 2 minutes of burpees. That's terrible.
All right.
Whenever you're ready, dude.
And all right.
Mm-hmm.
First things first. Colorado Avalanche win the Stanley Cup against the Lightning. Any closing remarks on the Stanley Cup?
That was one of the best playoffs of recent history.
Shout out the Colorado Avalanche for being the first team to beat the Lightning since the Blue Jackets.
Yeah. I wanted the Lightning to go repeat for the third one.
It would have been cool for
right.
the Jackets, but
Archman and Hookie going to Texas. Does this have any change in the Texas program?
This is a horns down program. No, they are still fucking awful. I don't care how good he is.
no, horns up, brother. They're going to be a much better program, and I think this is a big step for Texas.
Rob Gronkowski officially retires again. Didn't he do the same thing as Brady?
Kind of.
Yeah.
Is he the GOAT tight end?
If he's not 1, he's 2. He's got to be up there.
Give me Dick Buckets every day of the week.
Dick Buckets is tight end?
Oh, yeah,
oh
bro.
my God. Go on.
Joey Chestnut wins another hot dog eating contest, totaling at 15 now. How many does he have left in him? You know?
I mean, you can eat for forever. I mean, you'll eat till you're 80. I don't know. I don't even know who came in second. So if he's beating the second place by 40 hot dogs, I don't see why he can't go for another 10 years.
I mean, that's a good point, but why put a limit on this? Let's just enjoy him while we have him. He's a national treasure.
Enjoy the passage of time. I enjoy that. Go on.
Yeah.
All right, USC and UCLA join the Big Ten. Good or bad?
Terrible. I fucking hate it. Actually, no, let me rephrase. No, terrible. I'm staying with it for now. Go on.
I mean, it's good for the Big Ten. I mean, it sucks for us old school college football heads. These last 2 years will be some of the last actual years of college football, but good for the Big Ten.
Did we make it?
We didn't make it. We got 15 seconds to spare, and I'm sure we'll talk.
We'll talk more college football the next coming weeks.
Yeah.
Obviously, Ohio State's doing really well in the recruiting because we're Ohio
Killing it.
State, in Ohio. So that definitely is going to be brought up.
Notre Dame doing really
UCLA, we'll bring those up a little bit more in depth. But the biggest thing I don't like about it is the distance of travel. You can't say it's about the fucking players anymore and about the student athletes. It never was, but now they really are blanking it. But the big thing that I do like about this, and this will just be a little tidbit, like a little snapshot for the next time we talk about college football, is we've said for years, at least us three, Will included, and some of the friends from here, when you go play a college football game, playoff game in a dome or in the South, because that's where anybody ever wants to travel and it's nice weather, I think anything goes out the window. I've always said for years, I want to see Alabama come up and play their best team ever. The Mac Jones year, one of the best offensive seasons, or LSU, literally the best offensive team ever, arguably in college football. Statistically, come up to Columbus, Ohio, Ann Arbor, Michigan, East Lansing, fucking even Rutgers.
Give me Madison, Wisconsin.
Nebraska,
I'm
and
pretty sure Alabama did beat Wisconsin like 4 or 5 years ago in Wisconsin. I know it was a neutral site.
No, it was neutral site.
anytime Alabama comes to plays a team, it's neutral.
Ohio State and Alabama are going to have home and away. It's like
Yeah, but that's in August.
And Georgia.
It'll be August or like September. It's not going to be snowing
Yeah.
because you play your conference games later.
While we're talking about future schedules, so Ohio State plays Notre Dame these next 2 years.
Yeah.
I think we play Texas next year or the year after.
Mm-hmm.
We got Alabama, then Georgia.
Yeah, it'll definitely
every year
be.
in the home and
I
away.
definitely think it'll be a next interesting couple years, but I will be very excited to see USC, UCLA come into Madison, Wisconsin, Columbus, Ohio, East Lansing, Ann Arbor, Michigan in December, October, when it's cold, raining, or snowing, and see how well the Southern Cowboys or those Southern schools that are warm weather year round. I think that'll actually shed a good light because I also need UCLA and USC to become grossly good at football. I want them to be like a top 4 team, and as soon as they come to Columbus, Ohio, and play Ohio State, and when's the Big Ten championship game?
December,
First
week of December.
First week of December. So then the last week of November, because that's played at Lucas Oil. So last week of November, I want 2 weeks of November, USC to come into Columbus, Ohio, where it's potentially snowy, sleeting, and just cold, and then be a top 4 team, and then them just fall apart.
Well, I do think that
I want to see something like that, because if they're bad and they're awful, then nobody, like, if they're like Rutgers good, where they're 3 wins a year, 4 wins a year, and they come in here and Ohio State beats the shit out of them, then it's no big deal. But that's just my little touch on that. I know I kind of rambled, but we'll definitely get more into that. We'll have a little bit more of a debate on that. But,
we'll talk more next week.
John, do you have any closing remarks since you didn't have any opening remarks? Do you have any opening and closing remarks for our Spotify listeners and our YouTube listeners?
You can't put me on the spot there.
I'm sorry, man. That's what I do.
Baseball's fun. We love baseball here.
This is a baseball loving pod.
Watched We Are Marshall today. Great movie.
So sad.
Rewatched 42 today. I had the day off, so I rewatched 42 as well. Great movie.
Great movie. Ryan, you got any closing remarks? Wow. Real riveting shit.
Also, so I saw 42 in the theaters.
Great
Haven't
movie.
seen it since. I forgot how many times they said the N-word in that movie.
Oh my god, it's crazy. It's
insane.
so crazy. And especially because I don't think it's like, it's rated R, isn't it? Then it has to be.
I don't remember. I'd have to look.
No, we'll get that look. But my closing remark is our baseball team is 1-4.
I thought we're
1-3.
1-3.
We're 1-3.
We're 1-2. We're 1-2. We've only played 3 games.
No, we played that one team twice.
Oh yeah,
and
you're
then
right.
we
We
had the
played
doubleheader.
doubleheader. You're right.
So we are 1-3 with a combined run total against us of we're like negative 48, or no, we're probably negative like 60 something. So we're awful. We'll keep you guys posted. We have a game this Thursday. We'll let you guys know how that goes.
Oh, it's only PG-13.
That's insane.
We'll
We'll keep you guys posted on how our regular season team goes. As always, thank you for stopping by. Thank you all for hanging with us. If you're on YouTube, check us out on Spotify. If you're listening to us on Spotify, check us out on YouTube. And as always, shout out to Pete Abilities. Shout out National Road Golf Course.
Shout out my dad.
Shout out Dave Witt. Probably, fuck it.
Yeah,
shout out Dave Witt. Shout out the
Sorry,
boys.
sorry.
Thank you guys for hanging out with us, guys. We'll see you next week. I don't have anything to throw. We'll see you next week. Peace.